Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus blue moon for the month of May tarot oracle reading. And Scorpio, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Scorpio, we all have a little bit of Scorpio in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Scorpio in, that would give you further clarity as to your where this energy would show up. This is a timely reading, so just be aware that this is the best time for you to be watching this if you are. And this is also, if I have posted this a while ago, what was going on back then in your life, that could give you further clarity as to your situation now. Sorry, Stella, I just have to kick you off my lap for a minute. There we go. My cat loves the readings, but I needed to make sure that I have this set up properly. Okay, you can come back up. Good girl. All right, Stella, you be good girl. All right, so we're going to begin. We have the Page of Cups. This is talking about some communication or information coming in. The pages would work for the king and the queen in the royal court. Back in the old days, they would be generally around 7 to 14 when they started, depending on how mature they were. You have to remember back then the life expectancy was half of what it is now. So there, the people weren't children for very long back then, and so this would be a real coup for the family and for them to be in a position where they, have such a prestigious occupation. And the page's main job would be to deliver communication within the palace walls and run small tasks and errands. And then if they were very good at what they were doing and they were still there later, they might even be considered for knighthood when they were an adult, if they could afford their own horse. And so this is talking about some sort of communication coming in. Quite often, the cups represent romantic love a lot of the time, but it doesn't have to be. It can be love of someone or something. Also something you love to do or be, but quite often this particular card is about romantic love. Excuse me. The energy is, in the old days, it would always be a male, and the communication would be in person. That would pretty much be the only option open and available to them. And this would represent, but nowadays, like, this could be a woman or a young girl in her masculine energy, as well as a male figure. Remember, all the characters in the tarot are archetypes, so they are not gender specific. It's more about masculine and feminine energy. And so the Page of Cups quite often does represent a love offer coming in. Someone has their eye on you. He has, or you have your eye on someone. This energy, he understands there's lots of fish in the sea, but he is really focused on this one fish. And that's what he has his eye on. This sometimes could represent, these days, with all the different ways of communication, sometimes this can represent online dating. It could represent a phone call, a text message, maybe something comes in the mail, or you get a delivery of flowers, that type of energy. Maybe you are on social media and you get a message there, or see an event posted, attend, and then it's in person. This could be an email coming through. And also, if you're looking for information just in general, excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing. I wasn't coughing like before I started this, but there seems to be some sort of energy here, and I'm just looking here. I feel like it has to do with this cutthroat energy. that might be the case. So I'll just keep going here and just excuse my coughing. It'll end as soon as I figure out what it is, it'll stop. So I just get triggered by something in the order of these cards here. So this is talking about I was just going to say that you should also maybe take 5 or so minutes a day just to find out what's going on at the top of the pyramid. What are the leaders of the country doing? What are the influencers doing? You can sometimes pick up some really good information and have a better understanding of what's trickling down to you in your life, because whatever's going on at the top of the pyramid is definitely affecting people to different varying degrees below in the lower part of the pyramid. And then we have this energy here of victory. So the element that this card is representing is the element of fire, and it's represented by the wood wand. And the wood is fuels fire, and it's talking about taking passionate action. And this is really awesome energy, because this is saying that you may have been in some sort of competition. Sometimes this could be whatever competition, or this can even represent a battle for something. But the energy, like here, let's say this was a job promotion. You were able to go into the interview and really discipline your mind and and control your emotions, so that you did a really, really good job of the interview. And your performance, you are generally exercising that ability, and so you clearly came out a leader for the position. And these other people in the background, some of them look a little disgruntled here, but they have to admit that you did perform at the highest level, and that you deserve this victory. They might not like to admit it, but it was really apparent that you were the one that should win the position. And this is talking about really a big victory, not just over getting a position that you wanted at work or something like that, but you really are mastering your ability to be able to control your emotions and discipline your mind when it comes to, when you're under stressful conditions. And that's a really, really good leadership quality to have. This is talking, the Three of Cups is talking about love again. Now this card has, like, for me, a very mixed reaction, and especially when there's a full moon coming up, because these three like to come out at the full moon, and quite often this can represent gossip and slander, that type of energy. They are celebrating, and a lot of readers read this as a celebration of harvest. But who's harvest, and what are they harvesting here? Because no one's looking at each other. They're toasting each other, but there's no affection between them. They're all looking at the cup. They're toasting something that happened, not each other. And if this is, like, the cups are about romantic love a lot of the time. Quite often I have found that this card can come up as the third party in a relationship, where there's been a third party energy, that has caused conflict in a relationship. And we have conflict here and love showing up here. So, and here, that's really, so I feel like this card could be representing that energy. And also in a lot of cultures, particularly in Europe, if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, they'll get really upset with you, because they have a big superstition over there that if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, it causes 7 years of bad luck in your romantic love life. Not just for you, but for them. So they'll be like, look me in the eye. So quite often this can represent that gossip and slander, defamation of character, just, that type of energy. And the celebration isn't in your favor. Let me put it to you this way. And I feel that this is an energy you're feeling right now. This is in your how you identify right now. You feel like there's some real challenging energy here, Scorpio. So let's keep going and see what's going on. I hope, this could even represent that you are the third party in a relationship. So we'll just keep going. So this person is in regret or remorse, and there's three, the energy is these 3 cups of spilled. And if you've ever heard the saying, don't cry over spilt milk, it's because you could stand there in remorse and regret for the rest of your life. And some people actually do. They don't ever get over something like this. It's a huge loss. If you have love for someone and then the cups are spilt and you can't regroup that. This energy in this case, so there's two cups of wine, and then there's this cup of this other fluid that could, was poisonous to the relationship, and it's caused a huge loss. And then there's 2 cups standing behind. So the best thing you can do in this situation, really, this is a loss. There's no way you're going to recover this. So the best thing is to pick these 2 up and be grateful that at least there's 2 cups standing. And move forward, walk down the path, cross the bridge over troubled waters, and to your castle. And you'll notice in the background that castle looks like it's half standing and half dilapidated. Is the glass half full? Is the glass half full, or is it half empty type of energy? You have to have a really good attitude to overcome this kind of loss and be able to move forward. Now, this, if this is about romantic love, it very clearly is representing a third-party energy being involved. You could be the third-party energy because this is in your self-identity position right here, or you could be one of the two people, the one that cheated or the one that was cheated on, and you would know your situation. So there's that's the energy. And if it's not about romantic love, but I do feel in this it probably is, but if not, it could be about a business partner or family members that disappointed you in a really big way. So it would have to be someone that was close to you, that it had an impact on your life. We don't have a lot of pentacle energy here, so I don't feel like it's a business partner. It feels more like this is a conflict of love for sure, with the passion involved and all of that. So we have here, the Five of Swords. So there was a lot of like cutthroat energy, this is like these two people, clearly he's been fighting with them, and their swords are down. They're like, okay, we're done. And he's like, any more takers? Because I'll take on the next person as well. This is talking about cutthroat energy. Even the clouds in the background are like all cut up. And it's very angry and aggressive energy. This is someone who's willing to risk it all to win this fight. And they know it and they back down. Now, sometimes this card can actually represent inner conflict and of the mind, because the swords do represent the element of air, and the element of air is representing your thoughts. And so this can be your mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. And so this can actually represent three different versions of you. This can represent your subconscious mind when you were really young, and your subconscious mind is formed by the time you're around 5, 6, 7 years of age. And you think about a baby in the first year, how much they learn. They're like sponges, like they absorb their environment like crazy. And they also absorb, when you're younger like that, you absorb the values and the thoughts of your caregivers. And that would include the culture, the religion, the foods you eat, like pretty much your entire environment. And so when you think back to when you were young, a lot of people can't remember, before kindergarten age, and definitely not much from when they were a baby, unless something really traumatic happens. And so this energy, the subconscious mind, is actually more the thoughts of the people who are in charge of your care. And they relate to you, oh, you were like this or you were like that, but you don't really have a memory of it. And when we get into conflict, or like we get triggered by something, we tend to rely on our subconscious mind, and that energy then is not necessarily like our thoughts as an adult. It's more like the thoughts of the people who were in charge of our care when we were a baby. So it's not necessarily the most reliable mind to rely on, yet it's heavily imprinted on us, and a lot of us do, the subconscious mind can quite often take control. And then we have the unconscious mind, which is your spiritual needs. And a lot of people will say, yes, I'm a human being with a soul, but from your soul's perspective, you are a soul traveling in a human body, and it's just your vehicle for moving around. And if the spiritual needs are not being met, then the soul can get very loud and start arguing with your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. And your conscious mind, he has a handle on that. The conscious mind is representing like an energy of, yeah, I just got in a fight with these two dudes and I cleaned their clocks and nobody else was brave enough to take me on. I am going to fight for what's mine, so back off. That's the energy. And you remember it and you can relate the story. And also there's two swords here, and it's representing the double-edged nature of these swords. You need to use your intuition and your logic to have creative solutions. So this inner conflict can attract outer conflict, and outer conflict, of course, can cause inner conflict that then attracts more outer conflict. So it can be a vicious circle that you're in. This is talking about your self-image. This is about your abundance right now. You're feeling like you've taken a big loss, And there's been, and this is also representing how you learn to communicate in early life. So you might have been in a family where there was a lot of harsh words being spoken, maybe, a lot of arguments, loud, aggressive energy. This could all represent, like sometimes boys can get really aggressive when they are wrestling with each other, that type of energy. So it just depends to what degree it is, but it feels like that's kind of how you learned how to communicate with an aggressive nature. And you notice that my voice, like I stopped coughing as soon as I started doing the reading, because it's kind of like whatever this was, this inner conflict, it triggered something in my subconscious mind that I had to quiet down. And so I don't, I'll work on that later. And the Ace of Cups is talking about moving. This is a gift from the divine and from the universe collaborating to bring in a special gift of love for you. This is a beautiful energy because the cup is overflowing. You don't have to worry about people backing out on you or, thinking the grass is greener with someone else. It's a peaceful relationship that's overflowing with love, and it brings in a lot of benefit. And so quite often this can be a divine partner. It's also saying out of the mud, the water lilies, which are beautiful flowers, they grow. And so it's an energy of, this is talking about your emotional foundation at this time, like how you feel about your own home now. So I feel like this is maybe in the past energy, or this is talking about maybe someone new coming into your life after this all clears up, because we still have some other energy here. And this is talking about immature competition. And again, I feel like this is coming up creativity, romance, and children. But I feel like whatever happened when you were younger here and is causing this kind of conflict to happen especially it seems like in your love life, in like when you open your heart up and you're vulnerable, it's that type of energy. It's kind of a, not really having faith that people will come through for you. And this is talking about like, sometimes this can represent having a large family, like a boisterous family again. This is the only card in the tarot where there's adolescents, fighting like this. Quite often this can represent sibling rivalry, or, if it's not from your childhood, it can represent like rivalry in the workplace, rivalry, in your love life, that type of energy. If there's a third party, you may have been in competition, with more than one person here and didn't even know you were in competition, It's that type of energy. But this is my Mean Girls card. It's talking about, if you picture narcissistic cheerleaders, they're in grade 6 to maybe grade 10. They're not really mature yet, and they want that trophy. They're at a cheerleading competition. They can see the other team clearly is better than them. They have several moves that they do, they're really coordinated and they do a really good job, but they want that trophy. And so they'll be sneaky. They'll do whatever they can to win that competition. And if they don't succeed, their mothers will pull strings behind the scenes to make sure they do. And that's the type of energy. When you learn about competition, as you become more mature, you start to realize that the competition is really within you. No matter what happens outside of you, you have the power with your internal forces to either respond to the energy or to react to it. And if you react to it, it generally is not a best case scenario. It's better if you respond to it. So you take the time to calm down before you, rather than getting into a fight and causing a bunch of drama and all of that kind of energy. A lot of times there's regret after that, or being impulsive in your moves and then realizing, I didn't even care about that person that much. Why would I have caused this couple to break up, kind of energy? It's just impulsive energy. And when you start to mature, you start to realize that the competition is really within you. And it's really about you being able to go out there. Let's say there's an interview, you prepare for it, you put yourself, you do your best to prepare so that you can do a good job of it. You go in there, you discipline your mind, you control your emotions, you come out feeling like, good, I did a great job of that. Like, I feel like that was better than the last interview I did. And even if it's only better by 1%, you know, if you're on a team, say like in the cheerleaders, if everybody does that, the whole team, when they come together, are going to be 100% more. You know, the team is really going to come together at a much higher level. And, you know, it's having like that feeling inside of, hey, you've really accomplished something, and that you're getting better all the time at what you do. So you can be inspired by the competition rather than being having to win that trophy every single time. This is talking about a never-ending nightmare, and this is daily routine habits and your health. And I just feel like this is this energy, like it's like a repetitive cycle. So perhaps this happens to you quite a bit, and you're just like, you're so tired of it, and it's like a never-ending nightmare. And then sometimes this energy can also represent the energy of waking up in the wee hours from, like, maybe you have a dream and it's a big aha moment, and you figure out, you're shown in this dream the steps of action to take to be able to alleviate this energy. And this is talking about, you know, doing the work on meditation and prayer. A lot of times our dreams will reflect that back to us. And sometimes our ancestors will do their best to connect with us through our dreams. Also, if you've been praying and meditating, this can come in as like a message from the Holy Spirit through your intuitive energy. And this is also, this quilt here is representing, there's cosmic symbols on it representing that the universe has your back covered. You're covered by the universe here. You don't need to worry so much, you know, don't be so anxious, but you are going to have to get out of your comfort zone, get out of bed, you know, and apply yourself. There we go. So now we're going to take a look at what the external forces have to say. So the underlying energy from the external forces is use your intuition. So this overthinking, this energy of getting in conflict from overthinking and then taking it to bed with you. On this, I noticed this a while back here. On the bed frame here, there's people actually fighting with swords, and I thought, wow, you shouldn't sleep on a bed that has carvings of people overthinking and expect to get a good night's sleep. You might want to get a different bed frame, you know. But this energy is talking about the high priestess energy. She is very highly intuitive, and she, you know, this is her sitting between two extremes. And all of the information pouring in from both sides. So there's a lot of information pouring in. And this is 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. This is a lot of information. Information equals energy. And so she has to be able to sort through it in some way to be able to know, okay, which of this information is relevant in this situation? You know, what do I do with it? How should I proceed? And so this is talking about, you know, the extremes that she's dealing with is the Jesus and the devil. And this is the moon, talking about during the moon season, we are way, way more intuitive. And if we use our intuition and our logic together, that's how we come to creative solutions. If we only use our intuition, it's kind of like we could be way out there, like, and it's not applied in a logical way. But if we apply our intuition in a logical way, it can really be very beneficial. And this is talking about like this blue moon energy. Like this month of May, we have like 3 moons basically. We have the full moon on May 1st, and then we had the new moon on the 16th, and now we have the another full moon on the 31st of May, and this is in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, this this once in a blue moon energy it's quite rare. We only have it happen about every 2.5 to 3 years. I've tracked like when I've had blue moons, and I've had some like really interesting, when I look back on the energy, blue moon energy can be really, really challenging. And like it can seem like there's no way you're going to pull it off, whatever it is you're attempting to do. And then all of a sudden it just turns into this really wildly perfect energy, you know, and it's way better than you thought it was ever going to be able to be in your head. So I love the blue moon energy, and I feel that like this in particular is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is talking about adventure and doing things in a new way, and you know, expanding your horizons. It's it's using your intuitive mind to increase your knowledge, and opposing that across the horoscope wheel, across from Sagittarius, is Gemini. And that Gemini energy is very logical, quick-witted. You know, Geminis are accused of changing their mind constantly. And so this energy is, you know, the sort of the push and pull between logic and your intuition. And also, Uranus just moved into the sign of Gemini. And that energy, we haven't seen that energy since 1941 to 1949. So you think back, that was during World War II, like towards the end, and what happened, the aftermath of what happened after. That's the energy we were the last time Uranus was in Gemini. And so this Gemini energy is really powerful right now. And I would say the bottom line, I mean, you can look back at my readings from the end of April and the beginning of May for your sign. But if you want to know more about it, but the bottom line is that it's bringing the truth out in a lot of situations. I feel like it's like a truth a day is keeping the devil at bay. And this energy is going to be with us for the next 7.5 to 8 years. So this is basically, this energy is until 2033, where we're going to have to learn to do things in a new way. And also we're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of truth coming out about a lot of things that maybe have been percolating there in the background there for generations. So there's a lot of powerful energy to this blue moon, or this full moon, just without it being a blue moon. And I feel that this is also a stepping stone or a launching pad, basically. I feel it's almost like you know, you jump on the trampoline and then the trampoline bounces you off and you go even higher. On June 9th, there is going to be one day there where both Venus and Jupiter are going to be together in the sign of Cancer for one day. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. So I really feel like this is a launching pad, this blue moon, to go into that energy. And a lot of astrologers are saying this is the most lucky day of the year in love and money. And some are saying in a decade. So I feel like this blue moon is the launching pad for going into that energy on June 9th. And I will be doing a reading about that coming up. But using your intuition right now is a really good idea, especially if you have a new love coming in. You want to make sure, because this is commitments, partnerships, and marriage. So you want to make sure that you're using your intuition when it comes to who you're dating, who you're inviting into your life. And look at this. We have a transition happening because you have another ace coming in now from the external forces. Oh, okay, so wait a second. This was belonging here. This was the underlying energy, and this is the truth coming out. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. This is a reward for you. Like, 'cause sometimes we'll say, oh, I want the truth. Like, I want to know exactly what happened. Especially if it was something in a relationship. You know, it's sometimes like, you know, when people leave you hanging, and you're wondering, like, what the heck happened there? What the EF happened? Well, it was an external force for sure. And, you know, you're not asking what if they do this or that. They've already done it by then. Now you're asking what the EF happened. And so that's the external forces. But the truth is coming in about that. And then in the position of, oh, look at this. This is the energy that you are in. Wow. When these come out together, man, this is talking about like a calculated effort to put you in this position. So this is like being stabbed in the back, like, and left for unalive. And this could have been happening for over a decade. And it could involve one person doing this 10 times, or you know, annually. I don't know, like that type of energy. This can represent, you know, 10 different people. It can represent 10 groups of people, depending. So the truth is coming out about who all was involved in this disappointment that you're going, and why there's so much conflict. And it is shifting, because like you're being seen as a leader now, because you've overcome this, and they know better than anyone what they've put you through. So, but you don't know, and so how fair is that? So there's going to be some sort of transition. This card, the good thing about this card is saying it is a blessing in disguise. It's coming in as, you know, moving into 2026, 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10. So this is 1 plus 0, you know, it's a 1 year. And so this is a new beginning happening after this has happened. So it's saying this cycle is ending and a rebirth is happening. And his right hand is in the form of a blessing. And so sometimes this can be a blessing in disguise. As challenging as it is, you know, the possibilities are held in the challenges. And the Wheel of Fortune is definitely turning in your favor. This is about higher learning. When this truth comes in, you know, if you don't know the truth of a situation and you're left hanging, it's like hard to make strong decisions because you don't really understand what happened and where you went wrong. So this is a big gift. That this is coming in. And quite often you'll say, well, why didn't this come in like 3 years ago or 5 years ago? Because you weren't ready for it. Because this is probably talking about like calculated effort with people that you held close to you. And you know, people in your inner circle. Could be about family, it could be about partners, like whatever this is. And then when I look at this card then, saying the overall energy, sometimes this talks about something fishy in your love life and something stinks, you know, that kind of energy. And if it's not about a partner, it could be about people that are in your inner circle that you hold close to your heart, that you have love for. And so this is, the Wheel of Fortune is now turning, because this truth is coming in as a gift from God. And this is because the Wheel of Fortune represents God's divine plan. And the past, present, and future are coming together and turning in to support you in the now. And even on one of these wheels, there's actually 3, are the Hebrew letters for the name of God, which is tetragrammaton. Now, tetragrammaton is a sacred geometric symbol representing perfect order and divine order, basically God's plan. And so this is saying this is coming to an end. You're going to know the truth, and you're going to be able to move forward in a strong way. This is good fortune is upon you. And this is actually coming from Sagittarius energy. And the moon is in this blue moon that we're coming into is Sagittarius energy. And then we have this card coming in. This is talking about, this is a big upgrade in energy. It's the first pentacles that we see. And so the pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. We haven't seen any here until now. And maybe that's the problem. Sometimes when this kind of energy is put into something, it's because there's a lot of pentacles at stake, and maybe you weren't even aware how many there are at stake here. This represents an energy of like, if you heard about Nikola Tesla, he would talk about the beauty of the 369, then you would have the key to the universe. And this always reminds me of his energy. And I feel like he was talking about a ratio. You know, she's got 3 here, and then she's got 6 here. So 2/3, 1/3, adding up to 9. And she's got her hand on 2/3 of what she has here. And the pentacles do represent money, because money is a big part of health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. But you could have all the money in the world, and if you don't have your health and you don't have love, then you're not going to be living the best lifestyle you could be living. And then this is talking about having like the pre-Empress energy. So the Empress energy is when you embody the qualities of all 4 of the queens from the minor arcana, because you've been through a lot of hardship like this, and you've managed to come out being the best version of you after everything that you've been put through. And so this is a very powerful energy. And this is talking about, you know, generational wealth, a legacy that you can hand down to your children and your children's children. She's always keeping 2/3 to make sure she has enough to keep her business running, keep her house running, and have a little extra in case of emergency. And then this other third, she's using possibly to make an investment that's more risky, but it pays really well. And if she loses, then it's not going to be the end of the world. But if she gains, it's going to really add to her portfolio. And then this is talking about having maybe giving to charity and saving up for something that, you know, as a treat or whatever. And this is in your career and reputation as well. So this is really strong energy coming in. There's only 10 pentacles in the tarot. And this, you know, the 10 would be the billionaire status and up, and this would be multimillionaire. So that would be worth people doing whatever they were doing here to get a hold of. And look at this energy. We have the 3 of Pentacles, and it's saying that you're in a highly elevated position, which is really good news. You are people are noticing that you're a leader and you're doing really good work, and that you're in an elevated position. Whatever your career is, they're starting to notice, hey, you're standing above the crowd, basically. That's the energy here. And these people want to collaborate with you. But it's really super important for you to make sure that you read over any contracts, agreements, etc., especially if you're in the entertainment business, artists, you know, musicians, you know, actors, actresses, that type of energy in particular. If you're an athlete, you know, this can represent like scouts coming out with scholarships and, you know, record producers and directors and, you know, that type of energy. But we can see at the top of the news what's happening in a lot of those situations. So you want to make sure that you keep your lifestyle. This isn't just about money. So you want to make sure that you make strong decisions here. And definitely you want to get an expert, a lawyer that understands these contracts, because quite often this energy can be breadcrumbing, and sometimes there can be secret society energy involved. And you know, there's secret society energy. This is a stonemason working on this work, and they have a slow dagger effect that they have in situations where you know, there's hidden energy behind the scenes. And it's basically, you can look it up, you can Google it, but it's just, you know, gaslighting type energy, ruining people's reputations, and that a bunch of people getting together to collaborate to make someone look bad so that they can take whatever. And this is a lot. This is a lot of money. And generally when this type of energy happens, it could be like, it's not like the whole group or whatever, but there could be a few individuals within the group. So this is really important, that the way to protect yourself from this energy is to make sure that any contracts you sign are in alignment with your work. Like, let's say you were valedictorian of your class, and this is a law firm, and they're coming to you and they want you to partner with them. The thing is, if you read the fine print, they expect you to work 80 hours a week, and you just had maybe 2 babies in the last 4 years and a new wife or a new husband, and you don't want to be away from your children 80 hours a week. You want to see them grow up. This is not the contract for you. It's that type of energy. And once you sign that contract, you're beholden to it. So you have to keep make sure that you are in alignment with any contracts that you sign. And be proud, because it's saying that a lot of people are looking at your work and they do respect it. And even if you know, like, the energies behind this, there's all sorts of like groups out there. There's like bazillions of them that, you know, you can Google it. You'll see there's all sorts of, where they have their own rituals, they have their own ideas. And the important thing to understand is the group energy is way more important than any individual in that group. And so they take it very seriously. And so if you sign a contract and you aren't, you can't go back to them and say, well, I didn't see that clause. You signed it. And so you agreed to 80 hours a week. It was in the small, tiny fine print energy, but you did agree to it. That's why it's so important to get a lawyer that understands these contracts. Yes, and then there's Knight coming in with some information here, and he's in a hurry, like in an anxious state here. There's 4 knights, and this one, the knights would deliver messages far and wide for the king and queen. And back in those days, the only form of long distance communication would be by horse or camel or whatever, wherever they lived. And this energy is talking about someone who's very anxious. Like he's pushing the horse in tarot represents heartfelt energy and passion. And he's pushing this horse. Look how stressed out the horse is. And he's got a red flag on his helmet, his sword. We can only see half of it. So he might only have half the information, and we can't see the point. He might not be able to see the point of the information either. And he's pushing this horse like so hard in barren land, like this is desert, and they're against the wind. So this is talking like really aggressive, panicky. Either this person's running to something or from something, and it's like press the panic button, anxiety energy. And quite often this can sometimes represent an investigation going on. It can represent like technology being used for surveillance of people in an investigation, like hidden cameras, hidden mics, detectives, like private detectives being hired, that type of energy. So some sort of information is coming in about whatever is going on here. And so, yeah, and it comes back to this energy here, like what is so bothersome, about the truth coming out, because this is about the truth coming out. Well, the truth of what was done here, that's what's so bothersome. That's when you look at it. And why would people do this? Because of this. This is talking about a lot of pentacles, like a huge lifestyle or an opportunity for a really good lifestyle, multimillionaire energy. And, making sure like this could be, whatever it is, you might be aware of it and you might not be that aware of it. It could have happened when you were a child, and it's, and now you're finding out. This could have been about something that happened in your family. But you'll have an idea, like if after this reading. But I would focus on this blue moon launching you into where you want to go at this point. That would be the way I would deal with this energy. I feel this is a good opportunity for you to get out of this energy. We've got this new love energy coming in. We have a reward for you of love. We have a reward of the truth. We have good fortune coming your way. And lots of pentacles, and your career and reputation being really, even this card, it's saying that it's really good energy. If you're not in alignment, that doesn't mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to make sure like that you are going to be living the lifestyle that you want, and you're not signing up for 10 years of doing something you don't want to do. All right, we're going to clarify this for those that want clarification. If you are leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, and for any likes and comments. I really appreciate them. They help me build my channel. Consider subscribing if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. Okay, so clarifying this, I'm using my Oracle Tales from the Vector, and the numbers on these cards represent the Oracle. I have 64 paintings done. This is actually one of them. And this is a reproduction of one of them. And this is talking about the numbers here are the numbers as they are listed in the gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And I started this way back in 2007, and I'm working on bringing the information out, but I'm playing with the cards so that I have a really good idea what to write up. There's some information, I have a lot of written information, but you may have noticed that what is in writing isn't necessarily what we're talking about here. It's not necessarily how you want to be in action, like in the real world. So this is talking about following your North Star energy, the guiding star. It's about following your intuition. I feel that this is some information coming in from the past, and being sure, like, you know, do what you need to like, I feel this truth is really going to help you, because you might have been holding yourself back from getting into another relationship because of what happened here, because you don't trust your judgment or something. That's the feeling that I'm getting. And so, you know, this is talking about you're on your back, you know, you're on your guiding, your North Star energy, your destined path. So you're a star here. So it's saying follow that guiding star, and, you know, use your intuition. Don't turn down this love offer because of something that happened in the past. Back then it could have been a foolish journey starting out as the Fool, because you had expectations that this person cared about you as much as you cared about them, that type of energy. And you might have been quite young and maybe not that experienced in matters of love. And now you have way more energy, that you're more like a leader. So this energy is talking about letting go of expectations of how things are supposed to go and anticipating the journey. This is, the Hierophant is on this energy, and it's just talking whatever happened here is going to be brought to light. It's when the truth comes out, and it's going to, it's sitting right on them. So I feel like, there we go, there's that energy coming in. So this is talking about whatever happened back then, it's got to be cleared out, and then we can move forward from it. This is intent. This is the karmic space of intention. So the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Both of you, when you were in this relationship, could have started out feeling like, yeah, we're gonna do so well, like we'll never get divorced, we're gonna be, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And sometimes it's because maybe your expectations, you've never been in a committed relationship before, and your expectations would be that it would be way easier than you thought it was going to be, that type of energy. We don't realize, especially when you start having a family, like, oh my goodness, when you bring that baby home, that first baby home and the newborn, and like, it's like, whoa, this little bitty thing is like controlling everything. Like, it's such a huge shift. And then, so this is the, about being able to manifest what you want without having so much conflict inside and outside. Being able to manifest from your heart, from your authentic desires. And in case you didn't know it, you are a star, and you do deserve love, and you do deserve to have that in your life. That was what you were meant to have. It's about following your North Star energy and staying on your destined path so that you can have that love, and that, like, being really successful in your life, being kind, being generous, being the best version of you that you can be. That's the typical Scorpio energy when it's strong, is uniting people, through your words and through your actions, uniting people and having a lot of love for the world in general. Like, it's a very strong energy that way. And unfortunately, with the Scorpio energy, it's when things go the other way, it can be very much like, remember, a Scorpio has a stinger. So when they get angry and upset, it can really sting, like this kind of energy. The Magician is talking about an energetic upgrade in your life. Learn from the competition, and don't, and you'll end up stepping into this leadership role. You have the tools you need. You just need to learn how to use them and when to use which tool. Attachment, yeah, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. That's what this energy here is about. I feel like there's quite a bit of energy here regarding that. Someone wanted something that didn't belong to them and became attached to it. And that's the number one karmic space, the mother of all spaces. When we become attached to something and we have expectations that we're going to benefit from something that, especially if it belongs to someone else, that expectation is going to create huge limitations. And to be focused on something that someone else has instead of focusing on your own journey is just silly. in general. This is about the throat chakra energy. So learning to speak your truth and learning to use your words in harmony. Being like, when this inner conflict ends, when you calm it down through meditation and prayer, then you attract less outer conflict. And your words, this is saying, be careful of your words that you use when you're speaking to yourself, because when you were younger, maybe people used a lot of harsh words towards you, and you've gotten in the habit of doing that to yourself, and you're not benefiting yourself when you do that. It's a, you know, you have to be able to set the standard for yourself. And then we have the Gemini energy. That's about that truth energy coming out, and also that conflict between using your logical and your intuitive mind. This is talking about Mercury is really strong communication and moving forward and with creative solutions rather than getting into unnecessary conflict. And look at this. This is going to, this transition here, this is a blessing in disguise. Where's the Hierophant? The Hierophant is going to take care of this energy. So you need to focus on that launching board from the blue moon, sailing you into like this really attractive energy for June on the 9th, and anticipate a really strong future. Though your strength and commitment to changing your situation and being the best version you can be of yourself is paying off big time. People are noticing. Whether they're not people you want to do business with or you don't, doesn't matter. Just don't, you know, just make sure you do your homework. This is really important in this age where Uranus is in Gemini. It's really important because the truth is going to come out, and you can find the truth now. It's going to be easier and easier. Just watch, like every day, all you have to do is spend 5 minutes looking up the news, and you'll be like, holy smokes, there's another big truth coming out. And you're like, get out of here. Are you serious? Not you too. It can be really upsetting at first, but I find it to be, hey, if you haven't done anything to cause other people's like this kind of energy, you don't have anything to worry about. You know, if you're not in this energy and you're the one who's being, you know, had it done to you, you actually improved your energy to a strong leadership role because of everything you've been through. So it was a, you know, backhanded gift in a way, right? But that's how you end up at the pre-Empress energy, is by going through a lot and still maintaining your dignity, staying on your own path, you know, like despite, you know, and having the, through God's grace, being strong enough to get back up after something like this happened, because this is talking like really calculated energy to take someone down. And, you know, if someone's been doing that to you, this is saying they're going to be caught, and that's why they're panicking. And then we have Temperance. This is having patience. Man, that can be hard. It'll seem quite often when you're on your destined path and you're doing things the right way and you're in that energy, it can be like really frustrating, because it looks like the people that are like cheating and doing things like all over the place. Like, and you're like, what the heck? They're the ones that have the money and they have all the power in the world, and like it feels like that. But now we are very clearly seeing that that's a temporary illusion, really. And staying on your devoted path and having patience and trusting in God's plan and trusting in the timing of it can really benefit you. And it's also, I feel like in this Scorpio energy, you may not be aware of it, but whoever these people are, they may have done this to they might have a lot of victims, and a lot of their victims may not have been strong enough to get back up. And you are strong, like God made you like Teflon. So you're in this position so that you can benefit a lot of people who are not able to speak up for themselves. They're too afraid to. So you know, that would be maybe why you're waiting, and you have to be patient. Somewhere before you came down here, you agreed to this. And this is an authority figure, the Pisces energy. Yeah, like, you know, Neptune and Neptune moved out of Pisces in it was like towards the end of April or the beginning of April, April 26th, I believe. And Neptune takes 14 years to move from one sign to another, and it moved into Aries. And so that energy, this is like a water sign. It's the most mature, and you're in the middle. And so the water signs really felt this energy, this shift of Neptune moving out of Pisces into Aries. Like this is an authority figure, an emotional, it's about idealism and how you approach life. This is the way I've done it. It always works. I have confidence it'll work, that type of energy. And that now everything that you were doing for the last 14 years a certain way, now it's in this Aries energy, and you have to tweak it and do it slightly differently and be open to new ways of doing things. And it can be really irritating, especially if it was working. So it's talking about that energy having to change on all levels. And then the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. This is God's plan. You were never alone. They were never up. It wasn't really you they were up against. They were up against God's plan. And that's why the Wheel of Fortune, it's come up twice here. And again, this is Sagittarius, blue moon energy. So I feel like you have a lot of really good energy coming toward you, Scorpio. As long as you're in the up and up, you'll see things will just start falling into place. All right, I do hope you've enjoyed this. I did. This is a really good reading. And give it a like and comment. I really, really appreciate it if you do. It helps me build my channel, and consider subscribing. I'd be honored if you did so. Bye for now.